We're now going to outer space. Last March, Rosanna, Scott Kelly from New Jersey, NASA astronaut, blasted off with his cosmonaut friend Mikhail. Destination, the International Space Station. Scott and Mikhail are in that International Space Station for a year.
Wow.
They're not getting back until early 2016. Isn't that wild? Scott, by the way, again, is from New Jersey, Orange, New Jersey. His twin brother, Mark, is also an astronaut. But let's go right to the International Space Station right now.
Can we tune them in? There they are.
Welcome to Good Day New York, gentlemen. How is it going up there?
Oh, it's going great. Welcome aboard the International Space Station.
Ooh.
Fantastic. What are you guys doing today? What's on the agenda? Just so you know, there is a little delay. Of course there's a little delay talking to you because you're in outer space and we're down here.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of a comm delay. This signal has to bounce off a bunch of different satellites. But we have 9 crew members on board right now, which is a lot for the space station, and from 5 different countries, and we're doing all different kinds of scientific research. I'm doing getting the Japanese airlock ready to deploy some small satellites here in the next week or so.
How about this? Going to ask you another question. Why a year? That's a very long time. You've been up there about 5 months so far. Why a year? And while you're answering, would you mind maybe giving us a demonstration of weightlessness in the International Space Station, maybe floating around and watching you would be really cool.
So the reason we're going to do this, hey, so the reason we're going to do this for a whole year is that this space station has some incredible scientific capability. And even though we've flown people in space for a year before, and that was, you know, a long time ago on the Mir space station, the technology has just improved so much with imaging capability and, you know, DNA. That whole discipline didn't even exist, that there are things we can learn here that will help us travel further and further away from space to go to Mars someday. So, you know, our previous experience on this space station has been 6 months, and eventually when we go to Mars, it's going to take much longer than a year. So having this space station with the type of capability on it really helps pave our way to for our journey to Mars someday.
Hey, Scott, do you ever get nauseous in outer space? I mean, not having gravity, moving around, turning upside down all the time. And being in small quarters, what's it feel like?
You know, it's surprising what you can get used to. You know, we're falling around the Earth. We're in free fall, so it's kind of like when you're on the top of a roller coaster and you feel everything in your stomach kind of go up a little bit and you float out of your seat. And that's what we're doing all the time. But you know, you just get used to it. I don't feel nauseous now. Some people feel sick in the beginning, but you know, they eventually adapt, even if they're, you know, we have people throwing up here sometimes when they first get up here, but they get used to it eventually. And as far as the closed quarters, you know, the space station's pretty big. So although I never feel like I'm kind of would like more room, it is still very clear that you didn't never get to leave. You can't go outside, so that's something that's very, very obvious to us.
Well, listen, we wish you a very safe journey up. How fast are you going right now, and what are you over? And if Misha can do another somersault, that would be really cool. Scott, if you could answer that question, we'd love to see Misha float around one more time.
Yeah, we're going 17,500 miles an hour, and I have no idea what part of the Earth we're over.
Gotcha. Hey, and when do you wear the space suits, by the way? I see them right in front of you.
Yeah, one of my colleagues and I, Kjell Lindgren, we're going to do a spacewalk. Actually, we're going to do 2. At the end of October and then in the beginning of November, spread out by a little bit over a week. And those are the first 2 we have planned right now.
Looks like you're over Africa at this point, Scott. And by the way, we love the, boy, it's casual up there. You guys are wearing polo shirts and khakis, it looks like. You don't have to wear the big space suits every day, and you don't have the flight suits either. You can kind of just chill up there. The mission is comfort at times, right?
Yeah, it's it's a pretty comfortable environment we have up here. Although it's it's pretty rustic living with regards to having the ability to take a shower and things like that. So it's sort of a little bit like camping.
Also, we wanted to kind of be in sync with you today, so we got some ice cream from the Intrepid, right? It's astronaut ice cream?
They call it astronaut ice cream, and as we look at this, Scott, I'd love to know from you too, Mikhail, how's the food up there?
You know, the food's pretty good. I was listening to your show about the sodium reductions that you're talking about in New York City in the diet, and we actually went through that where we kind of scrubbed our whole menu because there was a lot of sodium on board. So we had a big reduction in the amount of salt content. You know, it's obviously, salt affects the taste, but it's surprising what you get used to. So initially, with the less salt, you don't really like it, but you actually, after a while, you kind of get used to it. And I hope people, that are looking at adjusting the salt intake there have the same experience.
Scott Kelly, a hero. Mikhail, a hero. Thank you both for being with us. Sorry about the delay there, but you are in outer space. It makes sense. Safe travels, and we'll see you next year. Take care.
Thank you. And they were listening to us in outer space.
Thank you very much.